Your morning habits are the foundation from which your entire day is built upon. If you win the first few hours, then you stack the odds in your favor for the future that you want. But if the first thing that you're doing after waking is scrolling on your phone, then you're training your brain to crave an early morning dopamine spike. The rest of your day will be spent in withdrawal, with symptoms of brain fog, fatigue, and low motivation. On the other hand, if you wake up and choose effortful action, then you are teaching your brain that effort precedes reward. This single shift makes the entire rest of your day more productive because finally your biology and your goals are in sync. So let's get into crafting the ultimate science-backed morning routine. Protocol 0. Sleeping conditions. A quality morning hinges upon the quality and quantity of last night's rest. So let's quickly go over what optimal sleeping conditions look like so that your morning is filtered through a clear lens. But first, a reminder, keep your phone in another room. I'm not joking. If your phone is within arm's reach, then you have already lost the fight. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I need my phone for my alarms, then realize what that statement really is. An excuse. Alarm clocks exist for a reason. Next, eliminate as much noise and light from your bedroom as possible. I personally sleep with a fan going to drown out all noises. I'm such a light sleeper, I need this. And I also sleep with blackout curtains over my windows. This way I can't hear or see the outside world, maximizing my chances for quality rest. Lastly, keep it cool. Your body naturally lowers your core body temperature at night, and a cool room helps you shed that heat, helping you fall asleep sooner and stay asleep longer. Aim for around 60 degrees Fahrenheit and keep your bed warm enough to be comfortable while your core cools. I like a heated blanket. I know that's not for everybody, but for me, the cold exterior plus the warm interior of the bed is just such a great dynamic. Nightly prep. Set your phone to charge outside the bedroom. Close your blackout curtains. Set your fan or white noise, and adjust the thermostat before bed. Echoing benefits. Better sleep deepens recovery, stabilizes mood, and makes every other protocol easier to follow. Protocol 1. Hydrate. After ensuring that you got quality rest, it is a no-brainer to rehydrate. I'm gonna state the obvious here. You aren't drinking for the 7 to 9 hours that you're asleep because you're asleep. Therefore, rehydrating as soon as possible is ideal. I personally keep a cup ready in the kitchen to fill the 16 ounces. You get bonus points if you drink it with a little bit of electrolytes or a pinch of sea salt. And side note here, but I thought I would mention it, if anybody is telling you that you need to buy some certain ingredient or product to put inside of your water and you'll get some additional magical benefits, realize that they're full of bullshit. Regular water is more than enough. This habit is essential to a successful morning because it restores blood volume, supports cognition and mood, jumpstarts digestion, and makes deep work and early training feel easier rather than sluggish. And here's an optional routine. Make a caffeinated brew to jumpstart your day. Nightly prep. Set a glass or bottle on your counter so it's the first thing you see. Have electrolytes or sea salt easily accessible if you wish to add either. Echoing benefits. Better hydration improves focus, energy, and performance across the entire day. Protocol 1.5. Getting ready. I enjoy freshening up first thing in the morning. For me, this includes wetting my hair, brushing my teeth, applying a mineral-based sunscreen, beard oil, and deodorant. Sometimes I include an ice bath beforehand too. And I wish I could say that I'm super rigorous and disciplined with my cold exposure, but honestly, I'm so off and on with it. However, if you have the tools and the means to be consistent with it, then be my guest. It's a great way to boost mental clarity in the morning. Okay, so the most important bit during this getting ready protocol is applying sunscreen. One of the simplest and most powerful levers that you can pull for healthy skin. And in my mind, it's an absolute no-brainer. For me, this protocol makes me feel like I'm taking charge of my day and honestly makes everything that follows feel much more manageable. When I skip it, I honestly feel like a slob, and my external behavior tends to match my internal judgment. In other words, just spend the 5 minutes to freshen up. Stick to the basics. You won't regret it, and your skin won't either. Nightly prep. Lay out your clothes, skincare, and any cold water exposure setup beforehand so there's zero friction. Personally, I lay out my gym clothes because I train every day. Echoing benefits. You step into the day feeling put together, which subtly shifts how you carry yourself and how you show up in your work and relationships. Protocol 2, sunlight. I'm sure you've all heard that you need morning sunlight. It's been quite a well-known habit over recent years. However, just because it's popular doesn't make it any less beneficial. The primary reason for you to get morning sunlight on your face is this. It anchors your circadian rhythm, which is essential for healthy sleep and wake times. This occurs when specialized light-sensing cells in your eyes send a daytime signal to your body's master clock. Ideally, you're outside rather than behind a window so that the light is actually strong enough to trigger those cells. It also boosts daytime alertness by modulating the cortisol awakening response. While cortisol is often demonized as the big bad stress hormone, that's only true if it's chronically elevated. In fact, a morning rise in cortisol is actually normal and it's a healthy response. And the last thing you want is a cortisol spike later on in the evening, because that will definitely interfere with your nightly rest. Think of morning sunlight as the first domino that sets the rest of your day in motion. Here are the basic parameters. 1. Get outside within 30 minutes of waking, if possible. 2. On clear days, 5 to 10 minutes of direct sunlight often does the job. 3. On overcast days, 15 to 30 minutes or more is a great idea. 4. Bonus points for walking, because it's a form of exercise and a great way to generate ideas. Something magical happens when you combine movement outdoors with zero distractions. Your unique thought processes begin to emerge. You reclaim your brain. This is a special time, one that generates large amounts of intrinsic calling. Nightly prep. Place your shoes by the door, set a reminder, and know exactly where you'll walk. Echoing benefits. Better sleep timing, improved mood, more stable energy, and better focus throughout the day. Protocol 2.5. Journal/meditate. Next is a culmination of mental health habits so that you're prepared for anything that your day may throw at you. For me, journaling is extremely beneficial. Not only is it a great way to practice gratitude, but it's also a good time to plan out the rest of my day. After each journaling session, I create a to-do list. This massively helps me in achieving my goals. Sometimes I like to stack this habit with my morning walk. I'll simply walk to a destination, sit down, journal, and then afterwards, return home. If you don't know where to start, then just keep it simple. Write down the top 3 things that you're grateful for, then the top 3 things that you need to work on. Just that alone can shift your entire mental state and direction of the day. Meditation is also key. Now, honestly, sometimes I can struggle to be consistent with my meditation, but I threw it in here because the science is clear. It reliably lowers stress reactivity and rumination, sharpens focus and emotional regulation, and even with just 8 to 12 minutes a day, trains your brain to respond rather than react. This is substantial because building a gap between event and response is one of the most powerful things you can do in order to build your dream life. I tend to save meditation for after my morning walk. When I arrive home, I lay on my couch, close my eyes, and narrow my awareness. I find that this practice anchors my psyche. Honestly, I can overanalyze things and grow pretty impatient at times, and this helps me control that side of myself. Something to remember is that meditation is not some quick fix. It's a skill that you must build with consistency and perseverance. Optionally, you could also stack meditation with your sunlight. I mean, you could stack all 3 if you wanted to. Nightly prep. Decide where you'll journal, keep your notebook and pen out, and choose a simple meditation approach beforehand. Echoing benefits: better emotional regulation, less reactivity, clearer thinking, and more intentionality throughout the day. Protocol 3, deep work. Now that your mind is clean, clear, and grounded, we can get into the most powerful lever that you can pull in your morning. And the good news is this: you've been unplugged for your entire day thus far, so you're already halfway there. The night before, ensure that your battle station is set up correctly. No clutter, nothing that could potentially distract you. Optimize it so that you don't have any other choice but to sit down once you get there and get to work. Some useful ideas: have the task you intend to work on already open on your computer, so the chances of you clicking on something else drop close to zero. If you struggle to remain on task, use website blockers. And trust me, for any focus issue that you run into, there is a practical solution. Honestly, the whole morning thus far has just been leading up to this particular protocol. I mean, this is the one that is really going to move the needle towards your ideal life. As a simple guideline, aim for around 60 to 120 minutes of focused, deliberate, deep work. Phone stays in another room, notifications remain off, and then you just have one tab or app open, the one that you intend to work on. And for me, I tend to really crack around that 2-hour point. I think that's a common thing for most people. Once you begin to slip, once your mind begins to wander and your focus just drops off the cliff, just be done. Move on with your day. You might tap out at 45 minutes, you may last longer than 3 hours, but the exact number doesn't matter nearly as much as the quality of your work. Nevertheless, it's important that you do this block of deep work earlier on in your day rather than pushing it further out. Why, you ask? Reason 1, willpower is a finite resource and it's strongest in the morning. Reason 2, the day can easily throw you curveballs, making it impossible to get to. Reason 3, human emotions, stress, insecurity, distraction, muddle your decision making. Front-loading your deep work block protects it from all 3 of those. Nightly prep. Clear your desk, open the exact project you'll work on, and set any blockers in advance. Echoing benefits. You consistently chip away at your most meaningful goals before the chaos of the day has a chance to derail you. Protocol 3.5, refuel. Refuel is just a fancy term for eating breakfast, supplementing, and giving your mind a break. And not all breakfasts are created equally. In fact, there's strong science to support a high protein, whole food meal. It boosts satiety hormones and tames ghrelin, which is your hunger signal, all while keeping your blood sugar more stable. This means fewer crashes and fewer cravings later that day. A protein-heavy breakfast has also been shown to support focus and working memory by giving your brain fuel. In short, front-loading protein makes it easier to eat well, think clearly, and stay on track. I prefer eggs, bacon, and ham and chicken with a side of toast. And if you throw some veggies on top, then you have yourself an all-around winner. But honestly, anything composed of whole, high-quality foods will do the trick. Supplementing directly after your breakfast is a great time to do it because there's the macronutrient fat in all meats, and this is essential to absorb all of your vitamins. Here are the 5 most evidence-based supplements that are actually worth taking. Number 1, multivitamin. Acts as a nutritional insurance, helping cover common gaps in micronutrients that are hard to hit perfectly through diet alone. It's not a replacement for real food, but it can smooth out the edges of an otherwise solid diet. Number 2, D3K2. Vitamin D3 supports immune function, mood, and bone health, while K2 helps direct calcium into bones and away from arteries. Taking them together with food improves absorption and makes them more effective. Number 3, fish oil provides EPA and DHA, omega-3 fatty acids that support heart health, brain function, and help manage systemic inflammation over time. Most people underconsume omega-3s from food alone, so this is a powerful gap filler. Number 4, creatine. One of the most researched supplements on the planet. It supports high-intensity performance, strength, and muscle by replenishing ATP, and there's growing evidence that it may benefit cognition and brain health as well. Number 5, magnesium. Involved in hundreds of enzymatic reactions, including muscle function, energy production, and nervous system regulation. Many people are mildly deficient, and supplementing can support relaxation, recovery, and sleep quality. I didn't include protein powders because that is technically a food, and it's just more of a way to supplement protein that you may not be getting from your diet. But that would also be one that I would include on this list. Additionally, I didn't include electrolytes either, but if you find that you sweat a lot, then maybe supplementing with electrolytes or having some sea salt would also be a good idea. Nightly prep. Plan out your breakfast. Prep what you can ahead of time and set your supplements out where you'll see them. Echoing benefits: stable energy, better focus, fewer cravings, and better support for training and recovery later in the day. Protocol 4, workout. After you've refueled, you're ready to tackle any workout that you desire. This could be as simple as going for a long walk or as complex as training for the Olympia. In either case, the goal here isn't just bodily health, but brain health too. If your goal is more deep work, then there is no greater tool to recharge your mental state. When you exercise, your brain releases a protein known as BDNF, which strongly supports neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to change and rewire. In other words, you're not just training your body, you're priming your brain to learn faster, handle stress better, and lock in the skills and habits that you practice in your deep work block. Personally, I resistance train daily, followed immediately by a sauna session. Now I leave my cardio for later on in the day. Nightly prep. Lay out your workout clothes, shoes, and any gear you need. Decide what you're doing before you go to bed. Echoing benefits: better mood, sharper thinking, improved resilience, and a body that actually supports the life you're trying to build. Conclusion. At this point, your morning has done its job. You've protected your attention from junk inputs. You've hydrated, anchored your circadian rhythm, cared for your mind, done deep work, refueled, and trained your body. In other words, you sent a very clear signal to your mind that this is who we are now. And that's the real point of all of this. An effective morning routine isn't about being perfect or never missing a step. It's about stacking enough small, high-quality actions that the rest of your day becomes easier rather than harder. You're reducing friction towards the direction of the person that you want to become. And you don't have to implement every single protocol I laid out tomorrow. Just try and start with the foundational ones. Once those feel automatic, then consider layering in the half steps. Because in the end, your life isn't changed by one massive decision. It's changed by what you do when nobody's watching, especially in those first few hours when your brain is the most malleable. So here's my challenge to you. Pick the version of this routine that feels the most doable to you, then stick to it for the next 7 days and watch what happens.